How did you get into real social dynamics?
I spiraled down into depression. Couldn't sleep.
Mm.
I'm done. I can't live like this. Where whenever I feel that sense of anxiety or sense of nervousness, I know that that's my compass. Feel that. That's a good sign. Yeah, man, there's a lot of degenerate people in there. Not my vibe. Yes, there is a degenerate lifestyle. You don't have to be a part of it. If you're not winning at the game, a lot of the people are hating on it. But if you're winning at it, you love it. Especially Instagram has become the biggest dating app there is. If I can display honest signals about my life in an aesthetic way, why wouldn't I do that?
What's real social dynamics?
What's real social dynamics? That's a good question. Let me take it back. So before this whole industry started, you're talking about in the 1990s, 1990s, yeah. It was a whole different way that men and women interacted, right? Men and women interacted and got dates through a lot of in-person communication. Okay, that means that people would go to a bar, people would go to different events, and there would be a reputation, and there'd be like a talk around town, and then people would get to know each other through mutual friends, right? Then came the 2000s, and we had the dot-com bubble and everything like that, and so people started to flex a little bit of money. Then it was like, oh, let's get some, the girls were like, let's get some
Social
guys.
status.
Yeah. So that's where it started in like the 2000s, really. So that it was good for a lot of years, right? But not everyone had the access or the resources to capitalize on the dot-com era, internet, and that's where the internet made a big part in people's finances, right? So as people got on, people were spending more time on the computer. The computer was uprising, causing a lot of like social anxiety, and no one really going out because it was all new. It was like a new technology. Kind of like there's that scene in The Matrix in Neo, right? Neo's on the computer and he spends all day, every day on the computer. And they have to like bust down his door to get him out, follow the white rabbit to go out to meet Trinity in the nightclub, right? So that's kind of like what it was in the 1990s and 2000s. And so people were just locked in the computer. So fast forward a couple of years, then it's got to a point where, some of the rich guys are getting all the girls, and we start to kind of have an understanding of like this terminology that's become a little bit later, which is called hypergamy, which is the idea of people mating across status, hierarchies kind of thing, social status. And so what's happened is that the guys that weren't getting, the dates and weren't getting in relationships, it's like anything. If you can't do something, you got to figure out how to do away, right? And so, through that, people can say, well, this is wrong and this and that. And they're the people that have a perfect social life, have a perfect dating life. They're allowed to throw stones, but not really, because like they've got it perfect, right? Imagine someone that didn't have these things, right? So they've got to figure out a way, because if you look back in history, and this is a really roundabout way, but I'm going to give you a great explanation of it. If you look back, it was either 40 or 60%. If you look back in the whole of human history, only 40 or 60%, I can't really remember the terms, had mated, produced an offspring, right? So let's just say it's 60% of all human beings had an offspring. And that means 40% of all the people on Earth didn't find a partner
No
to be
hoes,
able
bro.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is wild. So it's a very big deal, and people. I think what happens is that people take it as that dating and relationship is just this thing that's kind of cool, but it's a huge deal. Like it's the quintus. If people say what's the meaning of life, one of the meanings I think is to not only have new experiences, but to reproduce, to have an
Continue the
offspring.
human race.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
legacy. If we're all here because of that, then your grandfathers and your great grandfathers and all through there, and your grandmothers and stuff, they've produced you, and so that lineage has gone on for a lot of times. So then, obviously, when it's very important, you've got to figure out ways, and so that's kind of the birth of where the pickup artist culture came from, PUA, which is the idea of actually improving your lifestyle by going up and talking to random people. That was a cold approach. And so if it was before that you met people through your social circle and you met people through there, that was great. But now there was a whole new way, right? And now we could go talk to people. And so fast forward a couple of years, there was a couple of distinguishing figures that produced a lot of content. And so people know of them through the book The Game by Neil
Yeah, I
Strauss.
read that.
And then from there was a character called Tyler Durden, and that ended up being someone called Owen Cook, and he produced Real Social Dynamics. Now that company no longer exists anymore, and that's fine. But the idea of men and women dating is still here. It's never going to go away. That's what continues the race on. or no, I shouldn't say the race, the lineage of human existence. So it's always going to be here, right? So whether it's this company or that company or anything else. And so I've always taken a fascination. This is 10 years in the making for me, and I've always had a fascination with this. So that's why I don't work specifically with just hardcore dating. I do more understandings of how to level up men, how to gain their status, how to get a connection and a brotherhood and a network, because these are all very, very important things for men. So to answer your question, that's kind of the story of a brief summary of the story. I could go on for freaking hours about that for
That
sure.
was really good, man. Damn.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually really good. You think we have to rely on real social dynamics even more because of like media? They have introduced like social dating apps and stuff, which made hypergamy like is that's basically what happens when females have more of a network to network with, right? They have access to all these high value guys. Is it because of that?
Sure, sure. Real Social Dynamics it was a company. Social Dynamics we're talking
Yeah,
about, which is the
yeah.
understanding of connection. Social Dynamics. So Social Dynamics is definitely it's an ever changing. So we call it two things. I'll say it two different ways. It's multifaceted, right? And it's ever changing. Okay. So what that means is it has a lot. It's like a tree. It has the roots are really spread apart, but it's also really deep. So within social dynamics, there are so many different layers to it, and it's so broad of a topic that there are so many different sort of ideas about it. Whether, as you said, online dating or social circle or network
Just one
or
part.
yeah, gaining more status. It's so big of a niche that there's so many offsets of it, which is amazing, right? Some people can work on that, but so some people are very against it. But you've probably seen like online where people like your Fresh and Fits or your whatever podcast
Yeah.
where interviewing the girls and stuff like that. All of that, people like throw stones at it and say, oh, it's not good and this and that. It's still just putting attention towards this dynamic of two individuals, which is fantastic. The more energy, the more output we can look at it, the better civilization's going to get. The more we can understand about it, the better it's going to get. So in social dynamics, to answer your question, it's kind of like a lot of time there are so many different assets to it. So it's such a big topic, and so what I try to do is I try to condense all of it into maybe just one product, which is my product called Social Life Mentoring. So I condense all of it because imagine if you were a sales teacher, right? And you're teaching sales. Well, that's also social dynamics too, because you're talking to someone. Let's just
It's
take
just like
your mum and
dating,
dad.
right? Sales is just like dating.
Yeah. Whether
I
your mum
know.
and dad are having an argument with you, that's also communication. That's social dynamics there. Whether you and your sister are organizing a trip and there's organizational skills. Well, someone has to be a leader of the group, someone has to take responsibility and all these. That's social dynamics there. So it's pretty much, if you were to broad sum it, that human communication or how we communicate with each other is such a pivotal topic for your life. And not a lot of people take it. Like did you get taught it at high school?
No.
Not a chance. But here's the thing. Every single day we communicate with people. And here's the funny thing. You want to know even deeper? Let's go some deeper.
Let's go.
What does the teacher say when you get caught talking in class?
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Yeah,
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, you
So
really.
now what happens if you're at the restaurant and you're talking and your mum, it's like you're talking too loud. Shut up.
Yeah.
You're talking the wrong time, or maybe you're having fun with your brother or sister in the back of the car and mum and dad just screaming. Yeah. Now you're 20. For your whole life you've been told to shut up. Now you're in this predicament where it's like, you have you struggle with socializing.
That's real interesting because like it's like the programming, right? We're programming all these like commands into our brain. I was reading a bit about neuroplasticity and like it was interesting. All these things are just being put into our brain, and then we develop these it's like these commands, and then now we're trying to rewire our brain kind of. So we're just like putting ourselves out there.
We've been rewired wrong, and now we've got to unwire it. It's a catastrophe.
Fucking hate it. Fuck you.
Calamity of error. Yeah, definitely, bro. For sure. No, yeah, no. So it's a broad topic, and it's for me. I find it fascinating, bro. I love it. All day, every day, I talk about it, and that's why I kind of, someone that's very prevalent in the industry or in terms of human communication, and just love it to death because it's everywhere, bro. It's everything you do. Yeah.
Love it, bro. I'm trying to do it as well, you know, trying to build up a social circle, you know, because
Okay.
what happened
Yeah.
was I left school, and after school is I like, well, no more friends.
Hmm.
They didn't contact me at all. What was heartbreaking was I was actually walking in the store in Myers, and I haven't since one of my good friends I used to be friends with in year 12. He was
Hmm.
really good friends with me, but then after I started to get into like learning about reading and all that stuff, I started to realize how fucked everything is. Like with porn, like addiction, like how the dopamine baselines that were literally making ourselves depressed. Like there's a reason why, because we look at our phone all the time. Like once I started to realize about like just everything about how it's working just a little bit. I think I don't know too much, and that's why I'm on podcasts like these, talking to you,
Amazing.
getting experience,
Amazing. That's really,
networking. But once I
I
realized
think,
that, and I shouted it out, I was telling my friends about it because I realized how doing certain actions will result in me feeling better.
mhm.
They called it stupid. They were saying like, no, if I want to fap, I'll fap. Like literally, I was like, bro, like you know what like this does to you, and like because you know of course when you find something out, you kind of like preach it a lot, since it's like
Mhm.
mind blowing, and then yeah, they
Yeah.
got pissed off, and I kind of distanced myself. They branched out to other people, and it was just yeah, it was fucked. And when I saw him at the store, you know, and he didn't even look at me. He didn't even look at me, you know. And
Mm.
like no, because he was in a friend group, I was talking to his friends, and like yeah,
That's what happens, man. It's like some people are on this journey and some people aren't. But I would say, how old are you, brother? You're 18, 19, around there?
turning 18.
Okay, turning 18. Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Right? You're very, very young. And so the cool thing is that you're going to experience, and a lot of your peers are going to experience that the time you put in, so you're 17, you're turning 18, you start hustling and you start getting better and better and better, right? 2021, and now you've got 4 years up your belt, bro. You can do a lot in 4 years,
Mm.
right? I was if I was your age and I was into this, like you are, like it's sick, like you're being able to interview me, man, that would have been like fucking mind blowing. It's been really, really cool. So, so you're gonna notice, but when you get to 21, if you continue this hustle, the guys that are 21 that just don't have that or what you do, don't have the discipline, just don't
Mm.
have the mind, don't have the network. And what's happened is that we all have the same attention, we all have the same 24 hours, we all have everything. It's how you use it, right? So if you're using it productively, if you're understanding, okay, no flaps away, or definitely, abstaining from viewing pornography because it's
Mm.
such a toxic thing, and really pursuing these in-person real connections, you're going to find that's just like over time, the momentum is like they start like their 1% go down, go down, go down, and then
Mm.
going down. You're compounding and
Mm.
using momentum. So you're going to be, by 21, you're going to be a completely different person to their 21 and not even going to be able
The
to relate with them.
consequences that the actions, bro, they're gonna lead to the consequences, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Einstein again. Like it's like, yeah, everything has an equal opposite effect. And so what you're doing is fantastic. So keep it up, bro. Definitely keep it up.
Thanks. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, good. No stress. Good shit.
Can I ask you one thing about how did you get into real social dynamics? Your story
Okay,
for
so
people
when
who
you
don't
say
know. Yeah.
real social
The
dynamic,
company,
the company.
like the company,
Okay.
and like how you got into it.
Yeah, a lot of people like that, and again, it's one of the things that a lot of people have moved away from. Again, with
Mm.
what happened. So with me, I'll give you a kind of brief rundown of my story. So with my story, it's a little bit interesting. So I was that kid that was kind of bullied at school a little bit. I wouldn't, it was pretty over the top, but shit happens. You know what I mean? Everyone
Yeah.
gets a little bit.
Everyone gets.
It's like your life ain't the worst, your life ain't the best, but it's just there, right? So I was playing golf, and golf's a pretty lonely sport. And from there, what I realized was I went to an all boys Catholic school. I only noticed this a couple of years ago, and I realized that I had to look back, and my social life and my social skills were popping when I was when I was in my middle school, and it was a co-ed school. But when I went to an all boys Catholic school, it dropped off the map because I didn't. Not only did I not know how to attract females into my life or even just female friends, but I'd taken it for granted. So I was in an all boys school. I just didn't talk to girls at all, right? Just not at all. And so it was kind of this weird thing when I was playing golf. I was golf's a bit of a lone sport. I was playing with old men, so I could talk to Gladys and Jim at the country club, but I really couldn't talk to anyone my age. And so that kind of prolonged until I'm like 18, 19. I got my first girlfriend. It
Mm.
was amazing. Oh, I'm in love. Oh my God, you know that first feeling when you're just like, this is amazing. You might be longing for that experience,
Ah.
and it's great. But you know, so you fuck all your responsibilities off. It's all about this girl.
Mm.
Now you get sex on the regular. It's amazing, bro. It's like, and then that gets taken away, and you're like, and it's just fucking like crushes you, bro. Crushes you. Anyway, so that was on Christmas Eve, actually. I
Ooh.
can even, yeah, I can even remember the time, and I bought her the Christmas presents and everything, and I was
No.
like, yeah.
Damn.
Anyways, so lots of stuff happened in there, and then I kind of what was weird because we used to work across from each other, so I used to see her, and then she started bringing in new guys, and I was just like, oh, just
Mm.
heart like that's weird. That's kind of like my you know, people talk about like the red pill moment. Like when I
Mm.
was seeing that, I was just, like so disgusted, and you know, I was like punching holes in walls at the back of the thing. It was so bad, bro. I was crazy, and I was a manager of a suits store, so I was like I had a good job and everything like that. Anyways, long story short, I spiraled down in depression. I start getting addicted to a pill called Rest of It, which is a sleeping medication. Couldn't sleep,
Mm.
pretty bad. And it sometimes I like to go in this story, sometimes I don't. But it got really bad to a point where I went to 5 pharmacies to collect about 50 tablets to go end my life. And so that was kind of like a really really dark period.
Mm.
I don't remember it, bro. I really don't. I was in a different headspace, and I think the drugs that I was taking, or the cocktail of drugs that I was taking, was affecting my brain chemistry. So I
Mm.
really wasn't myself. It was like a demon had like taken over me. So I laid them all out. I'm looking and I'm like, I got the big bottle of water, the Mount Franklin. I was like, this is it, done. I'm done. I can't live like this. This is 10 months of just torture, bro. Um, and I was like, you know what? Let me just go on to YouTube, because YouTube only gave me the slightest little bit of pleasure, right? Went on YouTube, found a video with the guy that ran, you know, the company, Owen, and Elliot Hulse. It was called Two Paths to Mastery, the video. I can still remember. And it was about 45 minutes long, and I watched it, and something clicked, bro. I don't know what happened. Something clicked in me. I put all of them in the bin, and I binge watched for probably about 48 hours every video that this company had online. Wild, eh? Every video. I stayed up for 2 days straight. I was just like, I was wide, because for something in me, just animalistically, was just like, don't stop. Don't, like, you can't stop. You just need video after video. So I watched the YouTube for like 48 hours straight. Watched all the videos, and I was like, wow. Anyways, they had a live, about 3 weeks later, they had an in-person event, and I went there, and I did my very first cold
Was it
approach after.
in Sydney?
Yeah, I was in Sydney,
Really?
yeah.
Damn.
Mhm. And it was wild, because I was just like, man, this is amazing. This is exactly what I want, right? And so from there, one of the things that happened was, once I started, I couldn't stop, and I was obsessed. Like, so people don't like, an obsession
It's a good
is
one.
yeah.
I
I
get
couldn't
what you
stop.
mean.
I wanted to improve my social skills, not just like being able to talk to girls, but
Mm.
being able to network and be able to get to know people. And I was making new friends, and I was just like, this is it, right? And so basically, I did this for 12 months straight, and I didn't miss a day. I was actually going out about 14 times a week. So I'd go to nightclubs 7 nights a week. I'd go talk to people in my lunch break, whether it was an 80-year-old woman, whether it was a 20-year-old girl, whether it was
Real
a
social dynamics,
25-year-old
bro.
businessman. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Like, I was, you know, I wanted to become like it. I didn't know I wanted to become. So anyway, so long story short, go talk to him. Anyway, fly out to Miami, and I take a boot camp with one of these guys, and I talk to him, and I ask Owen this, and I was like, yo, how does someone be able to get closer to you? Because Gary Vee always talked about, you want to get around the sun. You want to get around people that are pivotal in your life. So I was like, how do I do it? So I figured out a way. Got there, we talked, and then one of the nights we you know, I helped, you know, in some sort of scenario, and then we were able to chat for a long time, me and Owen, and it was about 7 hours we chatted for, and at the end, and he was very happy with me and wanted to bring me on board. And yeah, so basically like 13, 14 months later, after first starting, I was brought on the company as like as an assistant to him. And then I learned a huge amount from the company. But from that was at the start of the journey, and the journey has not stopped. And that's the thing. That's what a lot of people think. Like the journey to getting to that, was like fantastic. Wow, what a journey! And there's a lot of intricacies in it that I leave out. But the journey, has never stopped growing and getting better. Because the one thing that I said at the start, it's multifaceted and it's always ever changing. So even though I got really good back in the day, now completely different. Have to get good again. Have to get good in 2017. Have to get good.
Can you give me some examples on what how it's ever changing? Like, let's say last year.
Oh well, last year. Let's go back. Is it different than 2020? Let's say is connecting with men and women, is it different than 2020?
People still use dating apps.
Sure.
COVID. 2020.
Mm-hmm. And that didn't change everything.
Okay, yeah, it did. It did change a lot of things.
Everything, bro. And then have a look back, like you were 17. Back when I was a kid, bro. Okay, I'll give an example. When I used to go talk to people and used to have them in my car and drive them around, Spotify didn't exist, bro. I used to have to burn CDs with Ariana Grande on it and Nicki Minaj and shit. That's how different it's changed, right? Instagram, you had filters on Instagram that you would use, and that would be your thing, posting food and shit. Instagram wasn't like a thing. There were no blue check marks. There's no nothing. Like the whole game's changed on an intricate level.
Okay,
we've got more and more status seeking. We've got more and more value. We're able to identify value better, and so you have to keep up the game of understanding. Like, okay, what's happened is that not only have we had a major wealth distribution, huge. Let's just take like the crypto kids, crypto geeks, right? And they've got $100 million when before that they didn't, right? And now they're talking to a girl and they're simping for her and they're flying around and this and that, and they're just their attention is worth nothing, right? So a lot of the time, what's changed is that people's attention has changed. Look at TikTok. Think about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
4 years ago, before TikTok existed. Did you have a better attention span? Probably.
Yep.
Now you ain't got no attention span, right? And so like everything changes. The world is changing. So what was in 2020 when you were like, man, I should have got on that Bitcoin run. Now in 2023, you're looking at like, oh, World War III, this, that. How do I produce content? How do I get better? I'm graduating high school, and this and that. Like there's so many different other factors. Right? And for you, someone that had gone through that period, you had like 2 years where you missed socializing. Huge ramifications for that. Because I had 2 years. For you, so everyone in your, anyone that's following you, that might be your age, they've got to catch up. They missed 2 pivotal years. They've got to catch up. And if you don't, you will find in the next 5 years, there will be a lot of people that can't even talk to people.
Yeah,
and think about that. What jobs can you do that you can't talk to people? There's not a lot. Maybe like even someone might say, well, you could work in a factory and this and that.
It'll be replaced.
Still, the boss is going to tell you like, okay, this is what you do. This is how you do it. All right, let me talk. Okay, well, what about on the computer and robotics? You still got to get taught how to freaking do all the stuff. Right? So it's like if you can't even like talk with people, your life is in real danger. So that's where the scary stuff is, that it's coming out and you're seeing this 3 years where people just stayed inside for 3 years. I'm like, man, fuck, it's so terrifying, right? That's kind of like I would say that's how it's changed a lot, but it's ever changing. So think about 4 or 5 weeks ago, right? What's different than 4 or 5 weeks ago from now? Well, now people have access to a blue check mark on Instagram.
Really?
That's different.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought people have access to blue check marks ages ago.
Well, I'm talking about being able to buy it.
Oh, buy it. Oh shit. Oh, that's why you have one.
Yeah.
Sick.
Exactly. So that's changed. So in 4 or 5 weeks, you've completely dismantled the whole status that was on Instagram. In 4 weeks ago, it was normal. 4 weeks later,
everyone can get status.
Dismantled. Now, where do we look at value? Like it's shifting in real time.
There needs to be,
and that's the thing. Well, that's the thing. But then you're adding just another layer to it. then it becomes obsolete, the blue one, right?
Mm.
And so now we're looking at, okay, where is the status shifting? So this is what I mean by it's ever changing. We don't know where it's settling. It's right now, it's in the ether. It's like trying to find its space, right? Then it will be like in 6 months' time, boom, it'll launch on that or it'll launch on something else. And so this is why it's ever changing because we
I
become very
see.
value
So this is
individuals.
like how you use the world in order to display your value.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
yeah.
And people could say it's vanity and this and that. Yeah, you could say that back in 2017. Oh, it's vain. You shouldn't be thinking about that. That's fine.
But it is how it
You
is,
could say
right?
that back in 2023. It's like if you're not playing this game, you're not playing the status game. You're not playing the game at all.
You can't hate it because it that's just how it is.
Yeah,
You either play the game or you don't, and you just die. Yeah.
that's the crazy thing. So I learned how to do things back in 2015, 2016, 2014 that are obsolete now, completely obsolete.
Mm.
But the things that I learned now, maybe in 10 years, will be obsolete also. Who knows? And so this is why you've always got to keep your feet on the ground. You always got to know what's going on. And this is the cool thing because you can always find a leg up or a little bit of a jump up or a leg up on people,
Mm.
which is cool, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like you don't. At the end of the day, it's a lot of people say in the industry, a lot of people say it's a war, right? Because you see a pretty girl online.
Mm.
I'm not the only one that likes her. Millions of people that like her. So you're systematically versing millions of people. Okay, you see that dollar that you're taking from someone. I'm sure someone else wants that dollar also. Someone else wants to live in that penthouse house, like that penthouse mansion. Someone else wants to have that boat ride. Someone else wants to have everything. So then you realize I think the biggest thing is that it's become more and more competitive in the dating market, in the marketplace or the sexual marketplace has become more competitive in money, making money, and so but there's also an abundance of all of it too.
Mm.
There's more and more getting there. So, you just have to the fact of the matter is if you're not winning at the game, a lot of the people are hating on it. But if you're winning at it, you love it. And like, well, you see a lot of people hating on the game, you just gotta run it through that filter, be like, they're not
Mm.
winning at it. You don't see the winners complaining.
Because they're
You do
winning.
not see them.
They're
They're
getting
winning,
they're getting
right?
money, bro. You're getting everything they want.
100%, bro. 100%. Yeah, so that's kind of like where it shifted, let's just say.
Do you think that social media kind of like caps where people can demonstrate their value?
Apps, is that the
Is
euphemism
it
for like,
is it like it doesn't really because there is a lot of value in different things, right? But does it only just show the vanity kind of value? Because is there like social value, confidence value?
no, not necessarily, like, yeah, yes and no. Like,
Mm.
again, at some point, let's just take a really, really attractive girl, right?
Yeah.
Right? Really attractive girl, 10. Name me a Instagram girl that you know that's like a 10 in
Fuck.
your book.
I don't use Instagram much.
Right, right. Name me a girl that you know that you're like, damn, she's attractive. Like that, I'd like to get a girl of
Oh,
that value.
fuck. Yo, if I'm being honest, I actually can't think of any.
Okay, okay, I'll give
Just
you
give
one.
me a
So
name. Give me a name.
let's take Selena Gomez for
Yeah. Oh
instance,
yeah.
right?
Selena
Everyone
Gomez. Yeah.
knows, or Anita, if you got a Latina crowd, I
Oh
always like
yeah.
to,
Yeah.
or Summer Rae or anything like that, right? At that level, everybody they talk to has money.
Mm.
Okay, so let's just take for you, if everybody has two arms, two eyes, two legs, two ears, is that special to you?
No.
It's just normal, right? So if this girl is talking about, everyone she's talking to has money, money's like she just believes everybody else has money,
Then
right?
there
So
comes the
when you
next
don't,
part. I see.
yeah, yeah, when you don't, it's like shocking, but you can't even get into that reality to show her that there's a different reality. She's just around all the people that have the value and the status, right?
Mm.
So let's just take Instagram, right? So Instagram is a great displayer of these essences of being a human being, right? And it comes down to evolutionary psychology, which is like, okay, women really, really do want safety and security. What is something that happens for 9 months that women might need a lot of safety and security about?
Pregnancy.
Exactly. They can't defend themselves.
Mm.
Imagine if they got with a guy that could not defend them. What would that be, a net positive for her or a net negative?
Net
A
negative.
huge net.
Yeah.
Yeah, what she has to defend herself, adding stress, adding all these hormones and stuff like that. So it's terrible. So they do look for this because it's just inbuilt. It's DNA, right?
It's
A
a
lot of people,
natural
a lot of girls,
behavior for survival.
absolutely. And so we've kind of got to this period where people are like condemning natural behavior that's completely
Yeah,
natural.
yeah, that's what
And
I
I'm like,
saw.
yeah, you do understand. Like
Mm,
this is like, a great example is like when a guy goes up to a girl and he's like having like almost like shaking. He's like so nervous about getting
mm,
rejected. That's because on a DNA level, he has a fear of dying because back in tribe days, he could have died if he approached the wrong, if he approached the chief's girl or something,
mm.
get kicked out of the tribe, get this, and it was like it would be so traumatic to get kicked out of the tribe, have to defend himself, you'd probably get killed by a lion, or try to assimilate with another tribe, have to fight to get in, might
Mm.
get wounded. So it's on a like I might die, right? And so that's why guys have that DNA level of like, oh my god, talking to a girl is so scary because it's like I might die, right?
So
Go,
we need to
go on, but yeah, go.
yeah, sorry about that. We need to learn how to overcome these pre-built mechanisms in us and to make them to make them feel that this is not a dangerous situation. This is normal. That's what we're doing, right?
Well, in some circumstances, not all
Uh-huh.
circumstances, some of these great. A great analogy is like, okay, well, probably not the best idea to go into a cage with a lion. That's some inbuilt DNA shit. That's probably a good idea to have.
Mm.
Or like on the edge of a cliff going, okay, you probably, not a great place to stand, or not, like, some of them are pretty distinct. Oh, let me jump into a cage with a shark. Yeah, that's real great. Even those ones, I get fucking petrified. I'm like, why you'd want to go into a cage with a shark or some shit, or even just a foot away from it, right? And then they're throwing in the blood and the bait just to get them to attack.
Uh,
I'm like, well, that's even the worst thing. Anyways, any sort of fear, I'll probably conquer it one day. I'll probably just go like, that was crazy. Anyways, so going back to the idea, there's never a cap on like, and not cap in terms of like false, but cap in terms of like a boundary on how much value you can display on that. Because look at someone like a Dan Bilzerian or a Leo, or a Pete Davidson or something like that, right? They use social media because social media, or especially Instagram, has become the biggest dating app there is. There's no bigger dating app than Instagram.
mm.
You combine Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all of that.
It's literally like a
It
network circle, a big
doesn't even
social circle.
compare to Instagram, bro. It's crazy to think, right? And so when you're looking at all this and go, okay, well, if I can display different signals, honest signals about my life in an aesthetic way, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah, I see.
Why wouldn't I show someone that could potentially become a wife and become my mother and my children my life and share that
Mm.
with them? If I could do it in a little bit of a way that kind of encapsulates some DNA, responses like safety, security, and just different things that show value,
Value, yeah.
then that would be an okay thing to do because that's the way that works. Because back in the day, here's the thing: back in 1910, men used to do this just on a different spectrum. They just used to dress really, really nice and have the
Mm.
best suit. I don't know if you've seen olden day footage in Paris and Vienna and shit like that. All of the men and all of the women are incredibly well dressed. And it might have been having the latest pocket square was like the
That's how
status
you just,
symbol.
yeah, the value.
Or having the pocket watch or something. Oh my god, you've got a fucking a Casio. Let's just say Casio pocket watch. Oh my god, like that. And so the status symbols start to change, right? But if one of the status symbols that's saying just showing off your life in an aesthetic way that shows people that you're attractive, which is looks, you've got financial freedom,
Mm.
you've got a
Mm.
cool network, and people around you like you, which is a social circle or social proof, then why wouldn't you do those things? Like it's like a
The
no-brainer, right?
checkmark
And if you go to
status
the,
replaces
yeah,
the
if you
pocket
can go,
watch.
yeah. So imagine if some guy that's very valuable messages a girl, and then you've got Joe Schmo down the road that's begging her for a date. Please, Cynthia, I loved you all my life, and it's just like, and then you have a look, and Joe, who's like just killing life, and he's got his whole life sorted, is like,
Mm.
Cynthia, take you out, right? And Joe has a lot of value. Boom, she's gonna go with Joe. But what it all comes down to a lot of the time is just understanding that if you display valuable signals, that people are gonna like fuck with you a lot. Girls, guys, networks, everything. If you just
Mm.
show that you're living a life, and this doesn't mean that you have to get the same content as everybody else. It just means you have to create a content that's captivating enough. Learning how to captivate attention with photographs and videos and this and that.
Mm.
To like, you can't be a guy if your guy doesn't have an Instagram, unless it's like a status symbol that he's trying to do. Like, I don't have an Instagram, but he's like flexing a lot of the other stuff. He doesn't exist. He's invisible. Unfortunately, it's the
For
way
the
of the world.
online dating market, right?
Everything, yeah, you
Everything.
don't exist. You do not exist, right?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like people now go to an Instagram to see who you really are.
Mm.
So back in the day, there was a movie. I don't know if you've ever seen American Psycho with Patrick Bateman.
I've seen a
That's
bit of
the
it. Yeah,
yeah,
a bit of
yeah,
it.
yeah, definitely, you should watch that. It's a good movie. But in a scene, they compare business cards, right? They're comparing business cards, and this one has the best font, and this one has the best printing on it. He's like, "Oh, you've got the Delmont, like you've got the imprint, and this and that. Oh, look at the paper." And they're comparing business cards. Well, think about that. Like they spend a lot of time on those business cards to make it look flush, and that's just your Instagram. That's it. So your social business card, like who you are as a person, is all here, right? And I'm going to tell you why this is, right? Why people have now merged to social media. Okay. So I wrote this thread on Twitter that really, really did numbers, which was great. It was understanding what's the difference between Ubers and girls, right? Females, women. So what it was that imagine back in the 1990s and a girl had to go on a date with a dude. She would have had to gone on 3 or 4 dates with the guy to find out who he really was, right?
Mm. I
The
see.
date's probably about 2 to 3 hours, and he times that by four. It's probably 12 hours, 12, 15 hours, right? To find out who he is, what he's about, maybe get to know where he lives and, understand his life, right? Then you take Instagram, right? And in about 20 seconds, you can judge up where someone is in the social hierarchy, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, remember when you used to, maybe you don't remember, but you used to have to wait for cabs, and you never know when they're going to come.
Yeah.
When Uber came, you knew where the cab was, you could get a cab at any time, faster and more efficient. Also, you didn't have to do that weird shit with the cab at the end where they're like taking your card and you're like, it's just weird. You don't know if they're driving off and you're just weird where Uber was already paid for.
Mm.
Faster, more efficient. So all that Instagram does is people are able to judge where you are in the status hierarchy faster and more
So it
efficient.
just made dating more easier and more efficient, connecting
It
people
just made,
easier.
it just made connecting people because it's not just dating. Here's the thing: there's a lot of connections. I make
Mm.
some of my best dude guy connections on Instagram.
I
I
connected to
shit you
you
not.
through Instagram.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. With Twitter and this and that. So it's not just a dating app; it's a human connector. Okay, and so it's just because there was indicators of status, there was indicators of where I was in the value hierarchy, status hierarchy, that made people want to fuck with you, right? Whether it was a girl wanting a relationship, whether it was a girl wanting to be taken out, whether it was a guy that wanted to network with you, whether it was you wanting a podcast and this and that. That's all it is, right? And so, even if you have a look at yourself, it's like that's how the brain was working when you were able to connect with me or when you were able to message me, right? And so it's cool to understand those kind of things, and you're like, oh well, that's
Mm.
fantastic. And then you go out and you do, and then you find that you're automatically subconsciously doing this. You can't even help it. You're just doing it as it is because that's a humanistic trait. It's a DNA trait. Because we always want to be judging where we are in the status hierarchy, where we are in the hierarchy of our environments. So
Do you think like a lack of neediness comes from like just like a, I mean, do you think that neediness comes from just being low in the social hierarchy?
that's a really good question, actually. Yes and no. Let's break down. So it depends on
Mm.
what neediness you're talking about. Whether it was that you miss someone and you're generally like low down and this and that, and you're kind of like craving someone, or you're just this insecure little guy that thinks that he might lose the girl. Right? If it was the latter, of which you're insecure and you think you're going to lose your girl or this
Mm.
or that, it's definitely because you're lower status and you're placing someone else above higher status. Let's take another one, right? If you're talking with someone and you lose the words to say, you don't know what to say and you freak out. Subconsciously, you know that you're placing them more of a higher status or on a
Mm.
pedestal because you're saying what I'm saying needs to be approved by this other person because if they don't like me, that's a bad look on me.
Mm.
Okay, I go rocking up to girls. I'm like, yo, I could say the word like when you're talking to say someone that when you're talking to a baby, you're not thinking, does the baby like what I'm saying? You're like, hi, Mr. Baby, we know what's going on. You're messing around. Like, oh, like look at that. Oh my God, look at that. Look at. Or you're talking to a dog or something, and you're just like rocking, like messing around with a dog. You're not thinking, oh, does the dog like what I'm saying? Oh, what is the next thing to say to the dog, right? But when you see that pretty girl and you're like, uh, uh, how are you? Like you just don't know, and it's because of that idea. So neediness on that spectrum can come on like you're just placing the person higher.
Mm.
Now, if you're kind of craving the attention of human beings, let's just say on that neediness, and there's two factors. If you have enough testosterone in your body, you just do something about it. You go to a nightclub, you go talk to people, you go hit up people, you go call people. Proactiveness, but a lot of guys that might not have that testosterone in them just like wallow in self-pity, and then they're just this lonely little individual that needs the attention of people, right? Because they're not getting it. Either or is like low status behavior, yes, but it just depends on where it's coming from. One of them is very low status behavior when you can't talk and you're placing someone above. The other one is because it's self-inflicted almost, right? Go out and go talk to people. Go out and go interact with people. Go out and make new friends. Like no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do it. No one's going to improve your social life. No one's going to improve your dating life. No one gives a fuck enough to fix your life. That's the crazy thing. Not even your parents. They try, but they've got their own lives too.
Yeah.
That's why it says on a plane, fit your oxygen mask first and then attend to others. Right? Same thing, right? Fix your life first if you want to go help others. Right? And so it's like, no, like don't wish it to be like, don't wish it that other people go help you. Go help yourself. And that's going to be the biggest and best way I can tell with a lot of anyone in your audience. Literally go help yourself. No one's going to help you.
So is it more of just like just going out and socializing, or is it more of upping your value like with elsewhere with business and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a good question. Well, again, get a mentor, get someone like me, get someone like that's in the industry for sure, because that's going to be the fastest way. It took me 10 years to get to the point that I'm in, and now I've created something that can do it within 6 months. Boom, get you there right quick. And so we go through a pillar. So I created a system with a buddy called the 7 pillars of status, right? And so the 7 pillars of status are 7 key metrics that you can work on. And it can be a number system. It can actually be a number system where you can identify where you are in the value spectrum of the world and be able to level yourself up. A lot of guys overvalue themselves. That's a huge amount. They're thinking, yep, I'm an 8 out of 10. I'm in perfect shape, perfect body. Then when I run them through this 7 pillar system, they find out they're a 3.7. And I'm like, that's why you're not getting results. Because you ain't honest, bro. If you're an 8 out of 10 and Dan Bilzerian's a 9.5.
You already have it. You wouldn't need this.
9.5, bro. Like, if Dan's a 9.5, look at him. He's traveling around the world. He's got this, got that. And so when we really break it down on a systematic system, number one, on an evolutionary spectrum, it's like a lot of the time, yes, it is improving your status. You're improving your status, and that comes from every metric, whether it's business, which is financial freedom, whether it's around having a network, which is your social proof, social circle, whether it's getting your looks on point, dressing sharp, which financial freedom helps, because then you can get your tailored suits, you can look good, you can things like that, whether it's whether it's improving talking to people in your game and being able to like interact with people, whether it's your naturalness, where you've been put in so many different situations that number one, you have masculine qualities, like you're able to be capable in every situation. Number two, you're able to understand relationships as a win-win, and then the last one is like social media, right? I might have missed one in there because I was ranting, but social media logistics is where you are in the world. Again, like, are you in a third world country that's in the middle of nowhere and there's no one around you? Or are you in a first world country where there's 100, 200,000 potential candidates you could have, right? And then the last one is social media, right? And so, if you don't have one, you don't exist. Are you able to not only curate yourself in such a way that it looks presentable to other people, thus improving your reach of potential candidates around the world? Right, what happened was the idea of like the globalization of the sexual marketplace became available through Instagram, right? So you just didn't have your local community. You could potentially find a wife. You had the world. Fantastic that we have that, but guys don't utilize it. It came with a lot of complications after it, don't get me wrong, but guys don't utilize it properly. There's ways to utilize it, and there's people out there that are very prevalent figures that are doing it, and you gotta take me and a few others and this and that. There's some guys that are absolutely killing it.
I saw your Instagram reel. It was pretty cool. The promoting the lifestyle and like stuff like that. Like that's really like an attractive lifestyle. Even I want, a lot of guys want as well.
That's awesome, bro. No, it's good. It's good that you want that too, because it's like And you know, once you understand that, it's it's hard work that's going to get you.
Mm.
Like, because again, remember when I said it was a war? Like everything's a war with the girls and the money and this and that. You don't think everyone wants that lifestyle? Everybody
Yeah.
does. So it's a war to get there. You have to put more time and energy and effort and resources behind it to get there. But you said you wanted it, right? And this is where we get into the point: do you want it, or do you really want it? And this is
Well,
why I said to
there's
help
nothing else to
yourself.
do, right? That's the only thing you can do.
What else? Get money, get girls, get a family. After that, get a house, get this, set yourself up, and boom, you'll live your days happy. You know, that's the lifestyle that you want. Because again, other than that, you're going to be, run by tyranny and run by a
Mm.
few things that might happen in the world. You never know what might happen.
There's nothing you can do though. There's the only thing you can do is just level up. I don't see it like any other direction than just to sulk and die.
Yeah, the sulking and dying. And here's the thing: the illusion of safety. Anyways, even when you get
Mm.
all that stuff, you're still not safe. Here's the crazy thing: I love when the rich people they get the gated community. They're the ones that get broken into the most, the gated communities, right? It's like they get all this and then they get. But here's the thing: it's an illusion, bro. It's just becoming a capable man. It's just learning how to acquire skills rapidly. When the market moves, learning how to learn quicker, learning how to implement quicker. And then from that, as you get older, you become more and more wiser. You become more and more adept to learning trends and patterns. So, and that's the one thing I can tell you: learn how to identify patterns and trends really quickly. Pattern recognition, we call it, right? So you're 17. I'm sure you've seen some of the world. I'm so sure you see that. Oh, look at all the successful people. They do all these things. Look
Mm.
at all the unsuccessful people. They do all these things. So all I have to do is avoid the things that are unsuccessful.
And
That's a
do the
pattern
things that
recognition.
are successful.
That's it. That's the whole game. That's it. That's it.
Mm.
And that's the crazy thing. But that's too hard. That's too. It's almost too easy for people to understand that.
Ah, I see.
Right? They're like, no, no. There's got to be a trick. There's got to be a trap. I remember there's a quote. What was the biggest lie you got told? That it's hard or something. That
It's
life
hot.
is meant to be hard.
Mm.
Yes, I remember that. Sure. It's a paradox in life, and this is the crazy thing that people don't understand. There are so many paradoxes in life. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's fucking very, very difficult. And yes, it's very, very fucking easy at the same time. And it's okay for two things to exist at the same time that are both correct. It's hard because it's going to take a lot of work, but it's easy because you know that you just have to do this and then you'll get there.
Can I tell you
So,
something? So I went
hey,
into the,
yeah,
Hamza's Discord just
yeah, 100%,
to
yeah.
warm up before this podcast.
Cool.
So I actually looked. I was talking to this 13-year-old kid, and he told me that he made $2,000 last month from drop shipping. I was like, oh, what? There are
Awesome, bro.
13-year-old kids, bro, already started. I'm like, damn. I wish I got like
Hey,
these because I saw all these red pill YouTubers and stuff are blowing up, and I was like, damn, I wish I got that earlier. But like that's pretty early to be honest, like 16. But still,
definitely, yeah.
man, it's crazy. Like imagine if I didn't like I was exposed to the content, I would just still be the
Yeah,
same. That's the good stuff at
yeah.
YouTube.
But no, it's good because again, number one, yes, you can be saying like, "I wish I was earlier," but then you're also
Mm.
perfectly got it at the right time and you needed to get it too.
Well, I guess there's
So you can
nothing else
never,
I can do. It is the
God,
now, right?
yeah, God doesn't put something in your life when you have to be ready for it. And maybe there was little points where he gave it to you, but you weren't ready.
Mm.
You failed the task, right? And then you passed one of them, and then he knew that you were capable and ready to learn those kind of skills. It's almost like I don't know if they do it in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Karate or anything. They get you to do a really hard task, and if you fail, you stay at your level, and if you pass, you go to the next level. But
Mm.
that task is kind of allowing you, it's like a cognitive process, a physical process that goes, okay, if you can handle this task, then all of this level, let's just say the belt, you're able to handle those tasks because
Mm.
they're a bit complex, right? I don't know if it works like that, so don't quote me on that, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it works similarly. Like if you're able to handle this, because it's like mind, body, and spirit, it's all like you have to be very congruent with it, then you can handle all the rest in that
It's like
course or that
different
or that.
level of objectives, like talking to people first, and then going up to actually asking people out, then actually going to the event and then doing stuff. Then you
Yeah,
escalate even more and more and more until you reach the desired stage you want.
yeah. Like my first stages were like just go talk to people. That was like
Mm.
my criteria for success. Because what was before?
Nothing.
Nothing. And people are like, well, I see all the guys that are just like killing it, someone starts YouTube and they look up like KSI or something, or they look up, someone that's killing it, like, killing the game, and that the
Mm.
Sidemen or why do my videos look like that? It's like they've been doing it for like 15 years. Like okay, you judge yourself when you're 15 years in the future, then look back and see if your content's there. If you did it for 15 years, I'm sure you get there too,
Mm.
right? You'd actually be better than them probably because you're in a different era. And so a lot of people do that. But my criteria of success was just like, yo, okay, go up to talk to people. Like, cool. Okay, now what can I do? All right, I did that. Now it's like, okay, improve this part and have a 2-minute conversation, 3-minute conversation. All right, get this, understand, get some Instagrams, get this, and just progress. Right, that's how you progress properly. People are a kind of have this attribute of they want everything now.
They don't deserve it though.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I mean, money and speed of implementation is crucial, but you also have to have some patience in there. It's going to take some time because my brain is very wired. Like after 10 years, my brain is literally rewired. Where whenever I feel that sense of anxiety or sense of nervousness about, say, talking to someone, going and doing something, I know that that's my compass. I've rewired my brain to understand that whenever I feel that, that's a good sign. When my palms get sweaty, when I get like like a bit fucking giddy, when I have that tightness in my chest, I've rewired my brain to think that's good because I know it's good for me because that's the way to level up.
Mm.
Where most people, what happens when they feel that?
Run away.
Run away. Yeah, run away. Exactly. Exactly, kind of thing, right? So I know that levels me up. Okay, I'm going to have irrational fears, which is like, a lot of people have, but the rational fears is what I want. I'm not going to jump in a tiger cage, obviously, but the irrational fears of like going up and talking to someone, doing a speech, going and starting that business, going and talking and making that event with a social circle, going to the club, they're irrational fears. Everyone can do them, right? But you put all these like self-limiting, boundaries on you a lot of the time. For sure. And that's kind of what it is. A lot of people do that, they're the worst person for themselves is themselves a lot of the time. They have to work on themselves.
I'm not sure about for social because I have tried the small steps, the desk work. Like I started with like 10
Yep.
push-ups in the morning. That was it.
Awesome.
That was it. And then it progressed and progressed. And then after a month later, then I got some dumbbells, and then it came to,
Yep.
then I got a barbell. Then I joined the gym. That was a bit scary. So I had to join with a couple of friends. And then they stopped working out. I was like, fuck, I'm alone. And then I had to wait like 6 months, bro. 6 months of me just standing on the bench press, just eye contacting, waiting for people to come at me. I was like, fuck, no one's gonna come to talk to me. So I was like, okay, I gotta start talking to people. And there was a couple of weird interactions. Like it was at the water fountain, and you have that Congo line where people are just waiting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some people have that big water bottle, and I'm just filling it up there. And then people would just stare at me. I was like, yeah, this is a bit awkward. And like I was talking to them about it. And I was like, damn, it's not that scary. It was scary at
That's good,
first.
bro.
I spent
Having
7 months.
having you do that, that's fucking crazy, bro. That's awesome. Very good. Very proud of you.
Yeah, I don't know why I waited that long, like 6 months to 7 months of not talking to people.
But at least you did it.
It was crazy lonely because especially the last year of school that's when I started to figuring out some stuff, and then that's where okay, but like I want to be friends with these people, but then I figured out these people might not want to be friends with me. It was just a lot of stuff, and I kind of felt a little bit alone as well. So it was just hard, but yeah, I guess that's just it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, and you keep doing that, and you'll make some friends, you make connections, and
Yeah.
you got to keep going. On it. So it's like you're doing all the right things. If you do all the right things correctly, you'll do it. And especially like you're learning about the water fountain. Okay, now it's like okay, I got to get to know all the people and the staff that work there. They know everybody.
Yeah.
I want to know them, right? I don't want to know all the fitness trainers. I want to know all the people at the front desk.
Yeah.
That's how. Yeah. So it's just progression. That's all it is.
Damn.
And it might not be the gym. It might be a different gym. You're like, oh, fuck this gym. I'm gonna go.
Run away.
100%. 100%. No, good shit. Like, keep that going, bro. Just double down on that. Yeah. If that's where you're making a lot of connections, a lot of friends, just double down on it. Be the best way.
Do you think you can do you think you should make friends with people in nightclubs? Do you think you'll find quality people there, or the people you want?
Oh heck yeah,
Really?
100%. Yes. Oh my god.
I've heard a
People
couple
like
of things saying like it's a degenerate environment and you'll find degenerate people. They're not the quality of people you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Those people that say that also find those type of people. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
If you think about that, Yeah, man, there's a lot of degenerate people in there. Like, it's just not my vibe. I'm gonna go this week, but it's just everyone's degenerate.
It's not a good mentality if you are gonna go into it though, because that means
What are
you're
you? What are
literally.
you just gonna? What are you gonna attract to yourself?
Mm,
I found the. I can't tell you. I found the best kind of people in the world in nightclubs.
really.
The best. I found. Think about this, right? If you're out on a Wednesday night at a nightclub, someone else is out on a Wednesday night. What's the likelihood that they're an entrepreneur? Pretty fucking high.
Do you go to clubs on weekdays?
Bro, I used to go out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's crazy. Woohoo! That's
What's the likelihood?
yeah, very likely.
Oh well, I don't want to drink that. Who said anything about drinking, motherfucker? No one said anything about drinking. Like
Mm,
you can do this completely sober, right? And here's the thing, like a lot of people they just come up with so many excuses.
mm,
And here's the thing, it's like I've met some of my I've met girlfriends in nightclubs. I've met business partners in nightclubs. I met bosses that I end up working with at the start of my journey. Um, look at my career is because I went out to nightclubs. That's where my
mm.
career's gone. I've had relationships, because of the club. I've had connections from in the club. That's because my mindset's just different. It's not like, oh, look at all these fucking degenerates that don't care about me. It's like, no, cool. Be that as it may. I'm looking at the roses in the weeds, right? I'm looking at those one or two people. I already knew that there is 95% of the people are going to be just rubbish. Okay, well, I'm just going to focus on the 5% that are just amazing, that are the best kind of people. And that's what I chose to focus on, and it definitely served me a lot better. So some of the time, it's your mentality. If you're going in there and look at all these degenerate people, it's like you ain't going to find anybody. You ain't gonna find anybody. It's like going in there and thinking, "Oh, everyone. Like I'm scared of everybody." It's like, what's the likelihood you're
It's
gonna?
like protecting yourself first.
Yeah, it's an ego thing too. Oh
Mm.
well, like I don't want to connect with people. It's like why?
Cope.
Yeah, cope.
Cope.
Yeah, so that's where the last. That's like
Cope.
the last couple of years. It's such cope. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And and that's the way. Look. Can you meet people in the daytime? Yes. Can you meet people in the nighttime? Yes. Can you meet people at the grocery store? Yes. The airport? Yes. Anything, bro. There's just people around to go meet,
Mm.
right? You just got to like put the big boy pants on and go out there with a better mindset, right? Like most guys go out there and they're just like, oh, like I don't want to be doing this. This suck. I'm better than this and this and that. It's like, it's the worst mindset. The guy that's just like, I just want to have as much fun as possible. Like I'm out on a Wednesday night in a first world country. Like my life is a freaking amazing. The fact that I can go do this is amazing.
Mm.
Most people. Oh yeah, fuck this shit. That's me. I don't have the best mindset. I'm just like, everything I do is everything I do is the best. I'm amazing. Everyone around me is amazing. I attract the most amazing people in my life. That's all I'm focused on. Right? That mindset is so much better. Whether it's true or not does not freaking matter. Delusional reality that I create, and so what I'm creating is a reality that I'm stepping into that's more likely to be true than not true. If all in my environment I'm seeing is people that I don't like, I will always attract people I don't like. If all I'm seeing in the environment is like three people that are just like the
Mm.
best, I'm like, they're the people I want to connect
It's like
with. They're the
confirmation
people.
bias, where you tend to notice the things that you think about the most.
So when I get like, I'm thinking like the guys like, oh, can you make friends? Or they all. I'm like, bro, all my friends are from the nightclub. Like I have no others. They're all the best kind of people too. Right? Sure enough, some of them are degenerate. Let's just say they do a bunch of drugs, do a bunch of
Mm.
drinking. Okay, just don't kick it with them. Just go kick them up. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
Oh, but,
that's
yeah,
pretty common sense. Just
it's
don't
small
talk to
enough,
them.
like, right?
Just don't talk to them. Man,
It's simple when I break it down, bro. That's for sure.
that's funny because the message that is being pushed by all these YouTubers is just like, don't go to nightclubs because degenerate lifestyle. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Is there degeneracy? Yes.
Mm.
Do I look at it? Not really. like, sure, that if you got girls that are partying out to 4 a.m. and guys doing coke till like 6 o'clock in the morning, yes, there is a degenerate lifestyle. You don't have to be a part of it.
Mm.
Okay, don't go like if that's okay, cool. Then go to waterfalls, go on hikes, go to Muay Thai, go to all these things, and go meet people there. Like it's
Mm.
simple. Okay, if you don't like that, if that guy's told you don't do that, try that. Maybe that works for you. I'm not out here saying yes, no, maybe indifferent. I'm just saying like I have a different mindset and I'm able to do that.
It's like
That need a paradox. It's a paradox.
people don't
My
try
way,
before they even see though.
more likely, yeah.
They didn't
Just
like experiment and see for themselves really. So imagine we just all don't know stuff because we just all what we learned from the internet is just wrong. That's basically what it is. Echo chambers. We're just all stuck in big fat echo chambers.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? Excuse me. It's you're still learning something. It's an experience,
Yeah.
right? Whether you take on the advice from a YouTuber that says don't go to nightclubs, you start to not go to nightclubs. Um, cool. You may meet someone in the daytime. You may figure some shit out about the daytime that you want to go do.
Mm.
Now, there's another thing where you're like, you know what? I'm going to try to find some evidence that goes against my beliefs of like, okay, everyone in the nightclub is degenerate, and then I go, okay, how can I unconfirm that belief and find some evidence
I
that
see.
so then I go to the nightclub. So like all your beliefs, you don't want it to be like
They
you
don't
want them to be
support you.
changed.
Do you want them to support you?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like, okay, that might support you, but then you realize like, oh, I'm meeting no people in the daytime. Maybe, and then I just go, maybe
I
I should go
see.
to the nightclub.
So
Like that.
even if
So
it
then you
may
go
not
to the
be
nightclub.
true, sorry, even though it may not be true, you still may want to believe in it because it supports you, and that's what it's important, right?
Yeah. Whether it's true or not doesn't
Mm.
matter because again, in my reality, if I'm believing in something that supports me better than another belief, and I start to see results in it, now
Mm.
what would be worse? Believing something that supports you but not getting the results? Then you're like, then you're just like conning yourself basically. You got to see some results for it.
Okay.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, think about this. People spend 2 hours a night getting ready, girls and guys. They pre-drink, they go out, they have fun, all with the main objective to be social.
Mm.
Name another criteria that people do that.
None.
Their one objective is to be social. Let's take a festival. No, they're here to listen to music.
No.
No one goes to, no one goes to the club to listen to the music.
Yeah.
Anytime people are like, I did go to a club the other night that had the worst music ever, and it was such a mood killer. They were playing they were playing like 80s and 90s R&B. That's like one of my worst genres that I don't like. Like your Nelly or your Willie Vanilla, Millie Vanilli, and like all this. I'm like, oh man, like you guys used to play Drake and Kanye, and used to play like Ice Cube and shit. Like I'm like, we're having the hardest stuff, anyways. So, but most people don't go. They just drink. They go socialize. They have fun. They dance with their friends, and so I'm like, that's a social place. Like, why wouldn't I be in a social place? It's just like, and then you have a look, and again, some of the guys like. I always look at like, okay, what's their agenda behind everything they do too, right? If they say don't go to the nightclub, cool. That levels you up really quickly. So then you here this gets crazy. If someone tells you not to go to the nightclub, I'm not saying anyone, not saying anything, but
Mm-hmm.
if you start to get together, right, and you're not going to the nightclub, then you're going to place all your thing on not going to the nightclub,
Mm.
which makes you feel better, which makes them go like, let's just say, I'm not saying anyone. I love everyone on the community, but I'm just saying, let's just say someone says that. And then you start to get better, and then you're going to attribute all your success to this person. So you start talking about them. So it's a marketing strategy. But really all they've done is told you to get out of there so that you can fix your life. But then you're self-rationalizing that you fixed your life to give them more props to talk about more.
Multi-level marketing.
Yeah, no, yeah, kind of MLM, but basically it's just word of mouth, right? But that's good because it's fine either way because you learned something. You're learning an experience. Maybe going to the club's not your thing. Man, I had 2 years where I didn't drink a sip of alcohol, and that was the best thing in the world for me.
And you still went to the clubs.
Yeah, still went to the clubs,
Shit.
still went everything.
Maybe I should do that.
2 years I did that. The whole when I used to work in the company that I was working for, couldn't drink, bro. Not a sip of alcohol. Not a drug, not a sip of alcohol. I mean, my dopamine pleasures were like a steak. And I was like, oh my God, this tastes amazing. Right? Like really like, so no one talks about that. Like, oh, Aman talks about that a little bit. It's like cut off the alcohol, cut off the weed, right? And cut off the drugs basically, and you'll be fine. And so like majority of lives, like, don't be afraid to go to the nightclub. Like most guys when they say you shouldn't go to the nightclub, then they're like, "Oh, I'm afraid." I'm like, don't be like, it's not a scary monster. It's like, okay, then go to a jazz bar, go to a bar, go to a nightclub that plays live music. If you're talking about a nightclub, and you don't want to go there, just don't go there. Go to other places. Go to cabaret shows. Go to like shows and this and that. Like nighttime, everyone's very social. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is fun. This is enjoyable."
Mm.
So that's why I say, don't be scared.
It was pure chaos when I went to the Leavers event for 1 week.
Yeah,
Yeah, I went there. It was a very interesting experience. 3 a.m.
cool.
I was walking with a group of people along the road. We went to the beach. We literally made a campfire. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then I had to walk back to my campsite, which was not so fun. Not so fun. 4 hour walk.
Oh wow!
I think I came
That's a
back around
long.
back to the campsite at 6 or something, and then I slept for like
What?
4 hours.
When was that? Where? Which festival was it?
The Levers event.
Leave.
Yeah,
Okay. No, but then again, look at that experience that that
it's
you learned something from.
Schoolies. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad. Yeah, Schoolies.
No, it's cool. Look at that. You just learned something from it,
Yeah,
though.
it
And
was.
most of
I
my
actually really enjoyed it though. Yeah.
yeah, most of your funnest experiences were over nighttime anyway. Like
Mm,
some daytime ones that are fun. Don't get me wrong, too. Like seeing magical freaking waterfalls and this and that. Don't get me wrong, it's very peaceful.
mm,
But some of your fun nights are just like they're over nighttime because that's where the craziness comes out.
mm.
They talk about like the full moon or something when the crazies come out. It's kind of like nighttime. Crazies come out at nighttime.
I got one more question to wrap it up since we're getting to the end of the time. How would
Yeah, fella.
a guy who has no friends, maybe he distances off from his social circle, build his new social circle?
That's a really, really good question. So, are we talking about someone that's cut off all their old friends?
Let's say they don't have any of the old friends. They left them.
Okay, well, cool. That's kind of like a position that I have. So, your first thing, have they left college? Have they not left college?
Let's say basically me. So I've left high school. I'm in between, let's say, a gap year, right? How would someone like me create a social circle?
Okay, that's a really, really good question. So, first of all, we have a look and we use a little bit of a funnel technique, right? So, how many people are we meeting per week? And if the answer is like one, two, zero, we go, okay, well, how many potential people could I met? So, there was 20 people at the gym, and then I sat in my room all day, every day after that. And I didn't do anything. And so you go, okay, well, there was a potential for 20 and I met zero. Let's just say I just have to get better numbers. Or I met one person
Mm,
and I did one event and I met one person. So I'm like, okay, well, mathematically, we just have to do more events. We're going to get more people. So let's break it down to this. You only need one connection for your whole life to change. It's one of my rules in my program, my mentorship,
I
social
agree
life
with that.
mentoring.
Yeah.
Only need one person to change your life, right? And so it doesn't really matter, if the quality's there, the quantity doesn't matter. But at the start, you got to get some quantity. You got to get some
Mm,
people to do. So here's the thing that you do. This is why it's multifaceted because people are like, I just want a solid answer. I just want one answer. Help me with the answer to do. What is the one thing that I can do to make friends? Like I'm on a time crunch right now, and I don't want to spend any energy, and I want it right now. Well, for starters, your fucking mindset's wrong, right? You should want to go out and expend more energy than you're getting back. You should know that you have an abundance of energy and abundance of
Can I
resources.
say something? This
Sure.
literally sounds like business. Provide more value than they pay for, and then
100%.
you get referrals. Network your way up. It literally is, and you outreach as well. You do outreach. See what works. You test around numbers. If you're not sending what, like 100 emails, if you're sending like 2 emails per week, like of course you're not gonna
Yeah.
get anything back. Oh yeah,
100%. It's like a math equation almost.
logical.
Let's go on Instagram. Well, there's hundreds of people in your local area that you can hit up. Let's start with photographers, influencers, people that are killing it. You find different people in your area. You try to connect with them. You like their posts. You comment on them. You send them DMs. They got their stories and like, bro, I'm gonna buy that book. That looks awesome. Yeah, brother, that's fucking sick. And then you're reading, like, hey, bro, thank you for the recommendation. I really appreciate it. I learned so much from this book. Do you have any others? Yeah, bro, get this one. All right, I gotta get it. in six questions, in 6 lines of dialogue, I just made a friend, right? Epic, bro. I'm gonna read it again and tell you about it. And you do that, be like, bro, this is fucking amazing. You have the gems. You have the fucking gems. Never under any circumstances say, "Can I pick your brain? Can I pick your brain for some information?" That is single-handedly the worst line you could ever say in your entire life. Never say that line ever again.
Can
It's
I pick your
almost
brain, Sam?
bad.
Can I pick your brain?
Oh my god, I can't tell you how many people do that. It's almost as worse as the needy guy that goes to girls like, "Where's my hug at, girl? Where's my hug at?
Oh,
Where's my hug at, girl?" Like, oh, I hate those guys too, right? Where my hug at? Oh fuck, I know a few like them. So, anyways, so what do you have to do? What do you have to do? Imagine with that guy. It's just like, okay, well, maybe there is not some way, but maybe like, hey, bro, I've got this I've got this event I'm going to, full of entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, you're more than welcome to come. Like, here's a ticket, right? That could, yeah, bro, that fucking sounds sick. Even if he says no, that's like sweet, no problems. On to the next person. That's just Instagram. Let's connect with girls. Let's connect with girls, right? When was the last time that you actually go, you know what? I'm not gonna try have sex with this girl. I'm gonna befriend her because girls have friends. Don't know if guys need
network.
that.
You can friends.
Okay, so let's just say I befriend one girl and I get to know her, and we hang out and shit like that. But it's all friendly. I've friend zoned her, not her friend zoning me.
Mm,
I've friend zoned her, completely different dynamic, right? And then she has 6 friends, and you start to organize stuff, and you
I
invite this girl to
see.
invite her. Now you're out at dinner with 3 girls and you.
Don't cut off the root.
Yeah. And so most guys are like, okay, how do I make friends? And it's just like they only think about dudes. It's like, yo, think about girls too, right? You're starting somewhere from scratch. You don't get to have a decision on who you make
Mm.
friends with. You just people in general, right? So that's that. You can use Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. You can use Instagram. There's 4 apps right there you can always use, right? Cool. On the next thing, you're in person. Well, what about getting to know all the people that work at the gym? Asking a little line like this: "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch your name last time. What was your name?" "Stacy, nice to meet you." Boom, boom,
Mm.
boom. On the next, you're writing her name down.
I
Hey,
do that
Stacy, what's going
sometimes.
on? Hey, Stacy, what's going on? Yeah, I do it all the time, bro. I've got too many people to remember, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Now we're going on the next thing. Let's go to another place. Okay, well, I only go to the gym, and that's it. Hmm, maybe I should go out. Maybe I should go do some stuff. Okay. So if your cold approach is on point, you can go to like markets and you can go to shopping districts and you can go
Mm.
talk to them. But if we want to be a high value man, we should be really working on ourselves, either doing a business, or either doing something to be able to getting out of the matrix and all that sort of stuff. Go on YouTube to find all that. And, I definitely preach it, but it's not the right environment right now to preach that. But go do that, right? Other than that, it's like, okay, who are the entrepreneurs in my city? I want to own a business. I want to go do this shit. I want to get to know them. Okay, all right, are there entrepreneurial events? Are they this? Are they that? Yeah, you go to the entrepreneur events, they're all 65 and 50 and they're all weird. All right, piss off, don't care. Most of those events you go to, they're all going to be weird and you're going to find like 25% of people that are half decent. But again, like the nightclub, I'm only looking for those people. I'm only looking for one. I only need one, right? I go to 5 events. If I can find that one
Qualifying
person,
people, just like a business.
yeah, no, I like them, don't like them, don't like them. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Cool. I'm also posting on social media. I'm also trying to get connections with social media, liking girl stuff, following guys, following girls, getting that connection, right? If you know, hitting up all your old friends that you might be in contact with. Great analogy. Maybe they're on that path too. Maybe they got woken up from the matrix and they're like, I want to hustle. You guys can hustle together, right? Proactiveness,
Mm.
proactive. Okay. Next thing, all right, well, let me join a sports club. Let me go do something. Let me go join Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Let me go rock climbing. Let me go kite surfing. Let me go do shit where people love it, right? You build a commonality with someone, you build a connection with someone. But unfortunately, when you're sitting in your room jerking off to fucking, Lana Rhodes, you're not building a connection with Lana Rhodes, unfortunately. Anyways, so going on. You're doing nothing with your life, right? So you need to be going out there and being proactive about it. Let's just say, okay, you go to the gym and that's it. Let's go find some stuff to do. Okay, go out to the nightclub, go meet people, go organize some shit, go hit up old friends, go message people, go reply back to people's stories. Okay, go actually sign up for new things. Go to the library, go fucking here, go there, go to this bar, get to know people. Maybe you do some work. Maybe you can't find anyone. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go to the best bars in the city. I'm going to get a drink there. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to work. And then I'm going to get to know the waiters, the staff, the baristas, everything like that. Maybe that's what you're going to do. Something. There's no one way of like, what's the one thing I can do, man? My time's really important. I just don't want to be doing this. I just want to click my fingers and have my friends there. It's like, the reason why they're your friends is that you've shared energy back and forth. You've shared common interest back and forth. There's been a thing where you've had to deduct your energy and supply it, and you might not get it in return. Sometimes you might get it in return, but it's not this idea of like this victimhood mentality of like, like a win-lose. Like, I need everyone to do everything that I do. It's like
Give
a win-win.
more than you take.
Yeah, give a lot more. Give value. And rule number 4, it's like give value. In my program, rule number 4, give value first, right? So there's a couple of rules. I'll give you the first 4 rules, and then the other ones are for the secret guys. Number 1 is God rewards people that are specific, so get specific on the people that you want to get in touch with. Number 2, life rewards people that are initiators, so don't wait for others to put you on. You got to do it yourself, right? Rule number 3, you're one relationship away from the whole life changing, and rule number 4, lead with value. So they're the first 4. The other ones are a bit more gated and locked in. And so what you can find is that even those 4 rules, a lot of life can be done that. A lot of business can be done like that. A lot of dating that can be done like that. And so you get specific on the girl. You start inviting the girl to different things that you're going to. You show her your friends. You connect with the right kind of people. You never know what can happen, right? And you're leading with value. And your life will be completely different at the end of it. 100%. I can guarantee you that for sure.
Damn.
Done. Good shit.
Thanks for having me, Sam. Oh, wait, thanks for coming on the podcast as well.
Thank you, my man. Thank you. It was much pleasure. It was good to be able to drop some bombs on everybody and yourself. Be able to give you some advice, which was awesome. It was good. I had a good chat with you. Sure, it's been good.
You want to say where people can find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on basically I have the one username. I'll try to condense everything in the one username. So it's Sam Matheson, so SAMMATHESON, and then I just put another N at the end, so it's double N at the end. And so, yeah, they can find me there. You can find me on YouTube, find me on Twitter is where I'm most active. So you're going to find everything like there. And then everything. Oh, I'm pretty active on everything. You find me on Snapchat even, LinkedIn even.
I saw you on LinkedIn. I actually saw you on LinkedIn, yeah. Because I was using LinkedIn for outreach, and I was like, oh, let me search up this guy.
Okay, well, there you go. LinkedIn's the way to go, right? But anything in my content's there, and then if you want to go book a call within my team, which is for the mentorship, they're more than welcome to. But that mentorship is specifically for guys that want to level up their network, level up their abundance with women, and also be able to be a man of value and put value behind their name as well as their attention. So that's what that's for.
I think that's a lot of guys, Sam. Yeah.
Yes. Love it, my friend. Good chatting with you. Thank you for having me on.